Ready to go. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Carlo Levi-Minzi. I am Carlo Levi-Minzi, concert pianist, and I apologize for not being present so much in the last days, but I was quite busy as a pianist. I am not a YouTuber, a professional YouTuber, and I work basically as a concert pianist. I had to practice because I have incoming concerts around. Next October 9th, Saturday, I'm playing a Mozart concerto with the Untitled Chamber Orchestra and with its conductor Giorgio Rodolfo Marini, and later I'm playing in Genova a Scriabin recital, or taking part in a concert where I will play some Scriabin's music. Later playing a whole list recital in November. So therefore, as you can easily understand, I'm quite busy. But I couldn't miss the occasion to commemorate Sylvano Bussotti. Today, October 1st, it would be his 90th birthday. He would have turned 90 today, but unfortunately, he passed away just a few days ago. And so he didn't make it. But we would like to commemorate him today and to talk about the importance of this figure in the international, not only Italian, musical scene. Before explaining about the figure of Sylvano Bussotti, I must talk about what was going on in the post-war period in music, I mean after World War II. What happens is that in this first half of the 20th century, a group of Viennese composers led by Arnold Schoenberg and his main students were Alban Berg and Anton von Webern, started a new movement, and they created a new language which was deviating from the usual tonal system, which is the system which you hear in classical music, also in songs, in whatever you hear. This system, which basically led music for centuries, was deteriorating in the end of the previous century and was completely negated by this group. They created a very long to explain how it happened, but just let me explain what happens. The distance between one note, let's say C, and the following note, similar note, another C, is divided into 12 different tones. In other words, what we were saying is that in order to destroy the previous system, creating a sort of anarchy, every single note should not be repeated until the other 11 were played. This is called the 12-tone system. Of course, this is a very rough simplification of what is going on, but that was what happened. Schoenberg was the pioneer. His student Albert Berg was not so rigorous. The man who really stabilized this was Anton von Webern. This man died at the end of World War II, shot by an American soldier in the occupied Vienna for a mere accident. But anyway, this was the man who created the system. In the immediate post-war period, this system, the 12-tone system, became a sort of law mainly thanks to two composers by name, Pierre Boulez, a French composer born in 1925, and later Karl-Heinz Stockhausen, German, born in 1928. Boulez, in 1946, wrote a flute sonatina actually, and more important, in the 1948, he wrote his second piano sonata, which is considered a masterpiece in this kind of music. This music, as you can easily imagine, is completely inaudible for a normal ear. It's very strange to normal ears for people who are used to classical music or just used to the songs they sing. You can find this music on the YouTube, not in my channel. I worked on this in my youth, but of course this is not what I am fond of. Very interesting to note, I am not a politician and I don't want to go into politics. But nevertheless, I cannot ignore that in that year, 1948, the year when Pierre Boulez wrote his second piano sonata, it was published, a romance by the British writer George Orwell. In 1948, he wrote a romance called 1984. What's that? It's very interesting because the idea of this romance was that in 1984, so 26 years later, the world would have been divided into three big states, so globalization. One of which was had London as the capital, and the whole story takes place in London. Governments were replaced by a big computer, which was called the Big Brother. Do you know? Can you imagine? You remember that there is now a show with this name. But what was the Big Brother? Big Brother was the government. And the Big Brother was thinking at everything. So Big Brother was controlling everybody's life. And there was a big eye inside every single apartment. Can you imagine? So so the show didn't create anything new. The show is just doing exactly, was just acting the way that Orwell was predicting. Now the story goes as follows. This hello in the comments. Welcome to this live. We are not talking only about music, but actually we are making a little bit of history. So the story goes as follows. There was this Big Brother, and that was what Hello, Akabi TV. Welcome to to, to this live streaming, and the idea of this is very funny because it I myself thought that was the play was denouncing um, the idea was that I was thinking myself that Orwell was denouncing this deterioration of human life, but not true. As a matter of fact, it turns out that George Orwell was a member of the so-called Fabian Society. Well, this was an institution created uh, about 100 years before, and was basically calling for this kind of thing. And so this was the society we are going to promote, a society based on technology, based on a sort of fake socialism, uh, everything, no way to talk about things, no democracy, just everything based. This kind of fake anarchism perfectly fits with this 12-tone music. But the way this 12-tone music developed in the following years from Boulez and Stockhausen on, it fits perfectly into this hello antique vlogs, welcome to my YouTube streaming, hello, and therefore what happening is that as I said, this kind of music fits perfectly. So the law was completely was a sort of anarchism, but was a sort of a strict, very strict rule. So basically, they had created technological rule that was basically becoming much more strict than what was the previous. This is a story, and this was the environment. So the following step was the following natural step was to create music generated by electronic devices, and this happened in the starting from the early 50s, and other composers joined, like the Italians Luciano Berio and Bruno Maderna. And they created a lab of electronic music in the radio television studios in Milan, and this was the natural, as I say, the natural following step, which was absolutely coherent with idea of society, with the idea of a world which was rebuilding the economy and industries and everything after the big devastation of World War II. Stockhausen, who was very active not only as a composer, but also as an organizer, set up a summer course, which was called the Ferienkurse, and located it in a small town close to Frankfurt by name Darmstadt. The Darmstadt Ferienkurse became a sort of must for every composer, and everybody was going there. So for about 5-6 years, the idea of this 12-tone music, which was called serial music as well, which was the more strict form, the most strict form of this music. The serial music became the dogma throughout Europe, as well as in the States. But this kind of a strict idea of music had to be smashed in the immediate following years. Just we must understand also that this kind of thing is going against a law of nature. The tonal system, as the system which rules the music of the great composers, from Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, Schubert, Schumann, etc., 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 Brahms, as well as the music of the famous songs. This music is this famous music was regulated by this system, which is not just a system created by the man. Of course, it is created by the man, but follows rules which are in nature. The harmony, as we know, follow a physical rule called the rule of the overtones. In other words, we are talking about physics. The music, every single tone is not pure, but it's formed by a sequence of other tones, which are called the overtones. All the chords obey to the rule of these overtones. In other words, the chords we know, the harmony we know, is ruled by a law of nature. So it cannot be simply overcome with a man decision. It's like to say that physical laws can be denied, which is of course impossible. That was the contradiction of this 12-tone system. And there was also an aesthetical reason. A few years later, an American man by name John Cage went to the summer course and just objected the following. If you determine all the tones this way, or hello RSD, welcome to the YouTube channel, to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, I hear that everybody subscribes. Okay, let's go. And what happens is that what happens now is that this man, who was a sort of an anarchist himself, basically went there and objected. If you determine everything, or you just do it casually, completely random, you get the same result, the same sound result. Good evening, WebSoreg. Thank you for coming. So basically, what happens is that this created a big crisis in the Darmstadt area. So the whole thing was smashed, unbelievably smashed. The whole thing fell down, suddenly fell down. So they had to reconsider the whole option. And that was really great because basically the so-called serial music lasted just no more than 10 years. And then they had to reconsider the whole option. So the whole thing fell down. Unfortunately, this didn't destroy the Fabian society and all this thing, and we have the Big Brother again. Still, we have the Big Brother, etc., etc., etc. And this is very bad. But this is not our aim now to talk about this, even if we cannot ignore. So, following, in this moment, Sylvano Bussotti appears. So let's go back and talk about Sylvano Bussotti, the man we want to talk about. Sylvano Bussotti was born in Florence, Italy, Firenze, in 1931. And as you know, Florence has always been an intellectual city. It was the hometown of Dante Alighieri, the father of the modern Italian language, and the head and of famous painter Leonardo da Vinci. Vinci was a suburb of Florence, and other important philosophers, some important philosophers, architects, etc. One of those, Fra Luca Pacioli, was the person who theorized the proportion in painting, called divine proportion. So basically, everything was going to. Florence was in the Renaissance was basically the capital of culture, the European capital of culture. In any event, he was born in Florence in this environment, coming from an artist family. His uncle, Tono Zancanaro, was a famous painter, and also his brother became a painter as well. So he was inside this. He started in those years to study music, to study violin. He studied violin, and as well as started painting. Then he went to the Florence Conservatory, where he had important teachers, but didn't complete his studies. Continued in Paris with a famous teacher by name Max Deutsch, and in the meantime kept painting. We will find out how this kind of thing helped him in becoming the famous painter. Hello, Payonka Kaibigan, welcome.
Payong kaibigan. Shout out, payong kaibigan.
And this he studied. I was saying he was studied in Paris with Max Deutsch, and then came back to Italy and started writing his music. But he went to the Ferienkursen in Darmstadt, as everybody was doing at the time. And where he met John Cage and another intellectual by name Heinz Klaus Metzger, and of course other people. At this point, he was influenced by Cage's idea of casualty, so he started writing music, which was not involved with the 12-tone system serial music. Started writing music which was completely anarchism based on sounds he considered to be the nicest. In any event, his music attracted Stockhausen, who performed one of his. He said that he couldn't understand his music, but he thought he could give an interpretation to his sound. So some pieces of his were performed in Darmstadt by Stockhausen himself and his collaborators. started his career. In the following years, he was, thanks to grants, he lived in Berlin, in New York, etc. So he became very easily a sort of one of the leading figures in Europe. His music, as I said, was very, in a certain extent, a sort of was very the music of an anarchist at the time, but it was more and more going back to tonality. He became close friend of became close friend of another Italian composer who was 1 year older and who was attending at the Darmstadt Ferienkurse by name Paolo Castaldi, and influenced him. Castaldi was the man who went back to the tonal system and created throughout the 60s and then the 70s, created basically recreated the tonal system in Italy and in Europe. And this would have never been possible without Sylvano Bussotti's influence. Bussotti was not so drastically radical in this way to come back, but basically led people like the Italian Berio Maderna, we had mentioned them before, the man who had created the electronic music department in the radio television studio, led them back to tonality. In '68, Luciano Berio wrote a symphony in which basically he went back to tonality. So the figure of Sylvano Bussotti has been not only important as a composer himself, but also as an influencer, just to use a very modern word. So Bussotti was, as I said, Bussotti was also a painter, and was also a man of theater, a dancer. So his activity was a manifolded one. He wrote music, a lot of music, performed by the most important performers. I have a small part in this, frankly. Other pianists followed him more, and piano music, orchestral music, and opera. And his music was very nice to hear, in a certain extent, compared to even if strange for your ears, for the ear of somebody who is not cultured with this kind of music. In any event, Bussotti had a major career as a composer. Then he started also becoming a director, an opera director. He was, he, as his teacher Max Deutsch, loved Puccini, an Italian opera composer. So he staged some of his operas as well as other Italian operas in the big Italian theaters, as well as he staged his own works. I performed some of his piano music and took part in one of his opera. In 1974, I took part in the performance in Genova of his Passion selon Sade. You can find it on my YouTube channel. I will put the link in the notes later. his Passion Salonsad, of course, is a work of the mid-60s, and so he's still informed in his sort of anarchistic period. But nevertheless, it's quite interesting to hear. And what else? So he became also director. He was working in some music for instruments and dancers. His collaborator and lover was a famous dancer by name Rocco Quaglia. He was gay, and he never hid this, and also he was proud of it in a season which was still dangerous to admit it. And he wrote music for instrument and dancer, so Rocco became one of his closest collaborators, and he also took part in this performance of his Passion Salonsad in 1974. What else? Very much, actually. We are now, throughout the 70s, he became also artistic director of one of the most important opera houses, one of the most important opera houses in Italy, the theater in Venice. Didn't last very much. He was not the kind of man to work for an institution. And once he left this theater, he taught for a while in one of the most important perfectional schools in Italy, the Scuola di Musica di Fiesole. Fiesole is a suburb of Florence, and there is still there is a school of music, a sort of postdoctoral degree. They are very, very important in Italy, and most prominent people taught there. My friend Norbert Breinin, I talked about, the famous former leader of the Amadeus Quartet, taught violin there, and other very important people taught there. And now my friend composer Fabio Vacchi took over the position which was Sylvano Bussotti's. And this school is still there. Bussotti taught for a few years there, and once I went there to talk with him together with singer Katy Berberian, who was one of his interpreters. And he gave a lecture basically on Katy Berberian, and I was at the time I was accompanying her in a recital in Florence, so we also spent one afternoon with him in his school, in his class. That was in 1979, 80 or so. Later he continued his freelance activity as composer and director, etc. But unfortunately he made a mistake. He did the same mistake that another famous Italian musician made. Arturo Benedetti Michelangeli, one of the most prominent pianists, nothing to do with Bussotti, but the same mistake. One day decided that he didn't want to be linked to major recording companies and tried to set up his own, thinking that his prestige would have helped him in creating an independent label. But it was not the time. So even because of bad partners, the, the, the company went bankrupt very briefly, and he got run after by the Internal Revenue Service, and also for different reasons. So he had to flee Italy and to go away, and this is the reason why Arturo Benedetti Michelangeli left Italy. The problem with Bussotti was similar but not so dramatic. What happened was that at a certain point he decided that he didn't want to be linked to the publisher, to the major publisher. He was, at the time he was published by the most important company in Italy, Ricordi. Ricordi was a big company established much earlier. Ricordi was the name of the family who ran the house throughout generations, and was the company which basically created Verdi and Puccini among the others, among the other important composers. And at a certain point, and at the time was basically one of the two main publishers in Italy. Bussotti tried to get rid of this duty and tried to set up his own company. Same mistake. He tried to set up his own publishing company, the so-called Bussotti Opera Ballet, because he wanted to have a more complex operation. And of course, the whole thing fell apart immediately, or better, never started. So Bussotti was banned by Ricordi, which meant not to be performed in the big theaters. Meant not to be played by the main radio channels. No more recordings, no more CDs, no more nothing. So basically, at the beginning of the 90s, his name disappeared from the main programs in the big concert societies. While before he was performed at La Scala, was performed at Theater in Venice, was performed wherever, was performed was performed everywhere basically. So so the man disappeared and had also financial problems. He had bought in the meantime a nice villa in the suburb of Rome, had to sell it, and decided to move to Milano to live in a small flat with his long-standing friend Rocco. He kept working and somewhat surviving, also because of his auto rights, and of course he got a reasonable pension later. But his career was basically smashed for a long while. He started reappearing sometimes around 2005 or so, and started giving master classes around, and started going around again. But at this point he was in his 70s, so was basically working in his house and writing new music. Soon he got seriously sick and spent his last years in a hospice because of a long disease. And unfortunately, he left us just before turning 90. This is his story. Now I'm trying to figure out if I can put in my live, I can give you the link of the only thing I have in my, let's see, I need a little time to go back to my channel on the computer. Be patient, this has not been done yet. I must go there. Let's see. Be patient 1 second. Be patient 1 second. Here we are, and I must give a look at my. Here we are. This is the link. We can listen to some of this. Sì, of course.
Scopri il massimo dell'aspirazione con l'elettrospazzola extra large.
Yeah, of course. I needed to. I know what you mean, but I had to pick up this. Here we put in the. Let's see whether I can use the. Where I have a problem in. I need your help. How can I?
You cannot play there.
No, I don't want to play. I want just to put the link.
You own the other account.
I don't want to
not
play.
this.
I want just to put the link.
Oh.
And I cannot put the link from on the other account. Okay.
Or you can on there your computer and copy.
Yeah, that was. I am here. Come and help me. Come and help me. Now I don't know how to. Yeah, that was. I am here. Come and help me. Come and help me. Sorry, I need the help from somebody more expert in this. I have copied the link, but.
You cannot put down your link while you.
So I have to do from the other channel. Okay, let me.
You cannot down while you play.
Got it. Be patient. I am not an expert. I had told you. And here we are.
Ehi tu, siamo a Overtones, il tuo fashion store personale con capi
Sorry,
pensati
for
apposta per
this.
il tuo stile.
This I should have done earlier.
Dal mondo galbusera arrivano belle buone.
We have a problem. Okay, I'll try to solve the problem in the meantime while we are talking, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it. Let's see. Let's see. Now we have it. I go in my here. Now I can interact. Let's see whether no, I cannot hear either. Let's see what I can do. No, I cannot. So you have to try to find your. I'm sorry. You have to. To find your. You must find your own way of this, or I'll try to. What I will do later, when this. When this live streaming is finished, I'll try to put the link in the title and to change the title. Okay, in the meantime, let's talk 1 second again. We are almost finished to explain what the importance of this man. This man has been quite important, as I told you. He was an important figure, not only as a musician, but also as an intellectual. Also, he wrote some essays which remain part of it. Musicologist Renzo Cresti had written a book about him, which had to be presented to the big audience in occasion of his 90th birthday. Of course, everybody knew that Bussotti himself wouldn't have been able to attend it because of his health condition. But everybody hoped that he could be still alive to take part, maybe from remote, to this thing. But unfortunately, he died just 12 days before his birthday, and so this presentation has been posthumous. This has been a real pity, and we would have liked to be in this, to be part of it. And of course, we all miss him. As I told you, I have not been one of his best champions. And even if I took part in something of his life, and he always considered me a good friend and one of his pianists. In another occasion, we will talk about the other two composers who took over his legacy. We will talk about Paolo Castaldi, we mentioned. Paolo Castaldi, who was, even if he was 1 year older, lived a little longer. He overcame his 90th birthday and died soon after, and basically was the man who continued this counter-revolution, and create all the premises for a new renaissance of tonal music. And more important, the composer of the following generation, Carlo Alessandro Landini, who basically completed this. Now we are in a period of full restoration, even if the spirit, the Renaissance spirit of the Renaissance spirit has not resumed yet. This is what I wanted to tell you, and I think we are ready to finish this live recording, this live streaming. Thank you, Rosanna Monda, for joining us now.
Welcome, Rosana.
And thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, you are a little late, but you can, of course, listen to this live recording, which is for the recording of this live streaming, and you can so listen again about what we were talking about at your ease. What else? Yes, this is very important. We will talk soon about both Paolo Castaldi and Carlo Alessandro Landini. I was more involved in the music of these two composers rather than in Bussotti's music, but nevertheless, as I said, we were good friends, not very close, but good friends, and we were happy to meet sometimes and to have dinner together, and etc., etc., etc. So I'm glad, even if it's not as I said, I was not a champion of his music. I'm glad to be able to commemorate him and to talk about this figure, which which has recently been neglected for the above mentioned reasons. I still consider him a key figure in the Western culture and in the European and Italian musical scene. So I thank you everybody who wanted to be with us this afternoon for Italian, for tonight for the Philippine friends, and to have shared this experience with me. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to listen to good music. Thanks to my channel, and don't forget to listen to good music. Not only mine, of course, not only the one of my channel. Hello, Vinstar. Thank you for joining us a little late, but as I said, this live recording will remain on my YouTube channel. So see, if you want to hear about what we are talking about, you are welcome to listen to it again. Soon we are leaving, and I'm going back to my
Maybe 1 hour.
almost 52 minutes. And we are going to finish soon. I'm going back to my work and to my main work as a pianist, and going back to my practice for the concert, for the coming up concerts, and so I would like to thank you everybody who wanted to be.
Kanina boses. You make louder your voice.
Hey, my voice is not that great, so I'd like to thank you everybody for joining us. Whoever has been late in listening to my
Live.
to this live streaming is can also hear this this commemoration of Sylvano Bussotti, one of the most prominent figure of the Italian music life, not only Italian, and we and can listen to what I said about him and about his music and about history of European music in the second half of the 20th century. Can listen to it because this live streaming will remain on my channel, and I'm looking forward, and I will add the only link I can give you coming from my YouTube channel. You can listen to, but also you can look over you can look for other Sylvano Bussotti's works over the YouTube, and you for sure will find more. So once again,
Still
thank
5
you.
minutes.
See, thank you for joining us this afternoon. For you Philippine friends,
What time there is 9?
now it's almost 4 o'clock, so it's 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
Yeah, and we are going to finish this live streaming soon. And once again, don't forget to.
Hi, Liam Hoffman. Shout out.
Hi, thank you for
Maraming
coming.
salamat.
A little late, but as I said,
Magta-times 2 na ako. Mag-present kayo dyan.
we continue. We,
1 hour lang siya magla-live.
yeah, we are almost 1 hour here, and as I said, I must go back
Salamat,
to
Ma'am
my
Babes.
to
Sir
my
Liam.
to my to my main work, my activity as a pianist. But this remains, and I will thank you.
Present. Ma'am Rosana.
Okay, and you can listen about this, and I will add to the title the link of the only Sylvano Bussotti's composition present in my.
Hi, Jen May.
And I will
Panghabol na kayo dyan kasi mag-end live na yan.
and I will
Ililista ko na lang yung magkwan dyan.
and I will so you can listen to it, and you can find
My love.
more.
Ma'am Rosana said, you handsome.
Oh, very kind of her, but it's not exactly.
Hindi ako pwedeng magpakita, hindi ako naka-ready.
So, okay, now this is now it's time for us to say goodbye, and
Aspetta, 56.
yeah, it's almost time.
Hi,
Thank you,
Jobs. Jobs
hello,
Pelos.
Job Pelos. Thank you for joining us a little late, but as I said, this live will remain on my YouTube channel, and you can go back to it and listen to it. You can listen to it later, and you can enjoy it. So once again, thank you for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to listen to good music, and, not only mine. You can find a lot of good music on the YouTube.
No, you don't promote the other music. Your
Well,
music on
well,
others.
well. The most important part of
Hi,
it
Chloe Tan.
is
Yan.
to listen to music, and
Bilisan nyo.
hi,
Mag-end
hello,
live na yan.
Clo 10 channel, welcome,
Chloe 10.
and
Chloe 10.
and most important thing is to promote good music. If you promote good music, people
Only your
will get back to you. This is not the
Silip
way
lang,
to.
Ma'am Hakabi. Okay, Sir Jones, mag-end live na rin yan. Salamat. Ita-times 2 ko na yung mga nandyan.
We are also greeting all the Philippine friends.
Magandang gabi, you say? Say, magandang gabi.
Magandang gabi, which I don't know exactly what
Good
it
evening.
okay, good evening to my Philippine friends who are joining massively, and I really appreciate. I'm becoming somewhat popular in the Philippines, also because I am giving master classes there, thanks to a collaborative partner. Sorry.
Ay, charot-charot lang ako na naman. Thank you for
Hello,
coming.
Charles Lang. Welcome, ako naman.
Ako na naman.
Sorry.
Say it again.
Ako naman.
Say, ako na naman. You say, you again? Like in English. You again.
Welcome again, and don't forget to
Aspetta. Don't
join.
end live first. I take the phone and then you can...
Okay, so wait. So this is we. Hi, hello, all my friends. Welcome to this live, and I would like to thank everybody for joining us, and for paying attention to what we are doing about music. And so, and thank you again, and we are going to end soon.
Charot-charot lang, maraming salamat.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Remember me. Thank you.
Judge
Ako,
ako.
thank you.
Got commercial. Cannot exit.
Okay, Now it's time for us to say,
Aspetta. I cannot,
there is a commercial now,
yeah.
so we have to wait for the commercial.
Harang in Tagalog. Say harang.
Haran, oh, okay, we are back.
Okay.
We are back, and now it's time to.
Wait. Still have amore.
Jaco, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. And thank you to all friends who are here with us. Don't forget to don't forget to subscribe if you have not done
They
it
already
yet.
all subscribed. They
Okay.
also. Because they all, hi Sura! Uy,
Hi.
kapit lang. Shout
Hello,
out.
kapit.
Magandang gabi.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Asmoon, shout out.
Don't forget to tell your friends to subscribe to this channel and to join us for good music and for good possibility. Okay,
Present ka ba? Wait, amore.
it's time to go now.
Aspetta, amore.
Hello, President Kaba. Hello, Ashmoon. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. And if you have,
Mag-ingat kayo lagi. You see?
don't ask me to speak in a language I
No,
don't know.
this
Wait,
is good.
where
They
is
said
it?
that mag-ingat lagi is be safe always. What
Be
you
safe,
doing?
everybody.
Kapit lang.
Okay. Hi, Kapitlang again.
Okay, done.
And then now,
And finally, we can end the live. And thank you so much for everybody there. Don't worry, I will here. I list your name here.
okay,
Papaalam na po ako at saka yung aking boss.
this
Ay,
is
present ka ba? Ito, ang present, ang aking boss. Ha?
thank you, everybody, and bye for now. Thank
Bye.
you,
Salamat.
Ashton
Wait,
McClure.
this is new. McClure. Shout out. This new.
Okay,
Thumbs
thank
up.
you.
Magandang gabi, Ahmed.
Hello,
Salamat. Uy,
Madin.
nakahabol si Ahmed.
Hello, and thank you. Now it's time to really to go.
Papaalam na siya. Anton's Nuclear. Where are you from? Kuha ka ba? Maybe your friend.
I don't know anybody of those. And this is good news. Means that somebody is joining us. Okay, thank you again.
9 times up. Thumbs up. Magpapaalam na siya, guys. Next time ulit.
Okay,
Lee9. It's okay. Thumbs up, Dan. Okay.
thank
Times
you.
2 ka na lang.
Thank you, and you can listen to it whenever you
Wala
like.
na,
You
wala na.
stay there.
Basta mahalaga nandyan yung mga message nyo. Makikita ko.
Okay, let's go. It's time to go now. How do you stop this?
Stop. Wait. From the Philippines. Oh, okay. Shout out. Okay, thumbs up. Gen V. Nakahabol ka, Gen V. O, kanina mo pa.
Welcome, Genvi. Why so late? Next time we do it later.
Okay. Okay, guys. Times to go.
Times to
Say
go.
bye-bye.
Bye, and
Go.
thank you for joining us this afternoon, tonight, this night for you.
Panoorin ko na lang to at ililista ko yung hindi ko
Okay.
nalista. Ita-times to ko. List na. Ay, and live na daw. Aliyah May! Uy, nakahabol si Aliyah. Sino pa pilis?
Aliyah May, hi.
Aliyah May.
Bye now. It's time.
Okay, mag-end live na daw siya. Tuloy-tuloy lang pag-thumbs up nyo dyan and pag-comment para makita ko, kahit end live na. Okay, bye-bye. Good evening.
Bye. Good evening.
I just can't say them this. I love you all.
Love
Goodbye.
you all. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thumbs up done. Ed Sadam, shout out. Nakahabol ka, okay. Ay,
Thank
mag-thumbs
you.
up na lang kayo dyan, ha? Thumbs up na lang kayo dyan. Mag-end live na siya.
Adam, bye now.
Bye-bye.